So I have two questions for this video. One, should you ride a BDR? Most likely that's a yes. And two, should you go to a BDR event? I've never been, nor have ridden a BDR. But that's where I'm off to today. Jumping on the bike, getting down to San Jose. Got a little TFT update they're gonna do for me. Let's get on the road. Let's take a look at, why I'm taking this in for service. So one, it's 2019. It's gonna be out of its warranty soon. And we're gonna go a little menu. At times I get a little bit of a connection issue. It's not a huge deal. I started just running my phone straight to the cardio. That kind of works a little bit better, but sometimes I want to use the bike. So that's 021 004 040. And I noticed there's several after that, and of course the internet doctor said that may or may not help. So well, a little over an hour in the saddle, and we just got off the highway, and we just got a few streets and turns, and we're there. There's some gas reference for today. 530. 530 for the cheap stuff, 565 for the 91. There it is. It's very similar to Disneyland. In that, it is like the happiest place on earth here at San Jose. And it'll cost you probably more than Disneyland. But boy, is it fun. Maybe I'll put it here. Service, please pull forward. Yeah, I guess I'm technically service. Just finishing the update. So you can see they put a battery charger on the bike, and then they plug in to the OBD2 connector, and then you just need a little time and a smart technician.
It's time to pick it up. Louise is going to narrate what I do next.
All right, so we call this one the back end method, right? So he's gonna back into the bike, and he's gonna walk up and he's gonna sit right on the edge of the bike. Now what's really important about this is where his legs are, okay? So he wants to have a nice 90-degree bend in his legs, right? If he puts his feet in really close to the bike, like he doesn't have any power to be able to lift up, okay? If he puts his feet way out, what is he gonna do when he goes up? Yeah, he's gonna wind up on the ground. And ask him how he knows. Yeah, he knows this one. So he's gonna sit right on the edge of the bike so that he has a nice 90-degree bend. And now he's gonna find two solid places to grab on with his hands. One is going to be the lower bars, and one is gonna be the back rack on this bike. Don't go grabbing luggage. If you have soft luggage on there or even hard luggage, don't grab that stuff. You don't want that to pop up when you go to lift up, because that'll make you really sad. So he's got his hands in good solid places. He's got his feet at a good 90-degree angle. He's going to look up, because where you look, that's where the bike goes. And what he's going to do is he's going to simply walk backwards, just like that. Hey, well done.
Now I know what you're thinking. Well, sure, Shawn, you're 6'4" and 200 pounds of solid muscle. Of course you can do it. Now in Louise's case, it's critically important that she gives herself every advantage, right? She typically takes off the bags. It's a lot of weight on this bike. That's 570 plus pounds of motorcycle soaking wet before you put the luggage on it, yeah? So in her case, it's very important to make sure she picks up all the goodies. It's also very important to make sure all those elements are in place, the bike's in gear and what have you. Now, Louise also is recovering from blowing out her ACL, so we're gonna see if she can do it. Can somebody give me a drum roll? So you'll notice that Louise is sitting in a slightly different position on the bike than I was. This is necessary in order for, she got shorter legs, so she's gotta make it a little bit more comfortable.
So I sit down into the seat a little bit more. I don't sit up here, because if I sit up here, I've got nowhere to push from, right? So I sit down here so I can get that 90-degree bend.
Good. So she's still got her hand on the grip. She's got her hand on the tail rack.
And I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I usually have to psych myself up a little bit, so I do all the same things that Shawn does. I grab in the right place and I look up, but I usually count to 3 for myself. I'm like, okay, Louise, you can do this. Ready?
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Up she goes. The bike's being lifted. Get down there. Yeah.
And you guys can see it's a little bit more of a struggle for me, but I can do it. And I know I can do it. And that makes a massive difference when I go out and ride and try to decide what roads I'm gonna ride down, right? I'm like, can I go down that? Like, what happens if I drop my bike? Oh, I pick it up, no big deal.
All right, so now we're gonna show you another technique. We showed you the back end. Now we're gonna show what's called the front end technique.
Okay, so the first thing that Shawn's gonna do, he's gonna walk up to the bike, facing it, and he's going to point that wheel to the sky, right? So before we had the wheel pointed down and we were grabbing that lower bar, he's still grabbing the lower bar, but first he's gonna point the wheel to the sky, and then he's going to come up and wrap his hands underneath the lower bar. Don't thread your hand in between the handguard and the grip, because once you get up to here, you're gonna be like, oh, I've got nowhere to go, and it hurts. Ask me how I know. So he's going to wrap his hands and cup them underneath the bar, keeping his back nice and straight. He's going to look forward, because he's going to look where he wants to go, and he's going to walk forward with this bike.
All right, so that's 2 methods that we use to pick up the bike. We're going to show you one more, and it's the make your friend do it method. It's called the assisted lift. This is where you're helping somebody else to do the lift. Let me get Candy over here to give you a hand.
Nice.
Yeah. Where's Candy Spangler? Nice. Candy Spangler! GS trophy competitor. She's going to come give us a hand. Give a hand for Candy Spangler! All right, in the assisted lift, you're working together to get the bike up. And typically what we say is whoever dropped the bike is in charge of the lift. And this is very, very important, because the person in charge of the lift has to make sure that both of you are in the right place, and they have to count to get the bike up. And the reason this is important is that Candy is gonna step on the back tire, and she's gonna put her hands on the grip. She's getting herself in a nice, comfortable position. And when Louise goes to lift, she's gonna say 1, 2, 3, and they're gonna lift. But Candy is not lifting on 3. Candy's lifting on 2 and change. It takes her a half a second to get her body in the right position and kick back. Can you show us what that looks like? Weight forward, and then kick way back. She has to do this. So she has to have a good count in order to get it right. If Louise says 1, 2, 3, go, she doesn't have time to prepare. If Louise says 1, 2, wait, let me adjust my feet, 3, she's gonna screw it up. She can't give her a good help. So, Louise is in a typical position, her knees bent, 90 degrees. Candy's in the right position, ready to go. Louise is gonna give a nice, solid, are you ready? And a count to 3. There you go, up it goes. Almost over the other side there. This is a great lift because this halves the work, so each of you can do it easier. Now, this also works with the front end technique. Have you done it that way before? Let's see if that works. Louise is going to get into the front end technique. This is very typical if you have a F850, 750, 650, KTM, Suzuki, Kawasaki. This is typically how you have to lift the bike because they sit too low otherwise to pick it up. Yeah? So now Louise is in the right position. She gives Candy the 3 count. And up they go. Yeah, buddy. Position sitting down on the seat. She's gonna bend her knees no more or less than about 90 degrees. Louise is gonna get into the assisted lift position, and Haley's gonna give Louise a steady count to 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and up she goes. Ain't that bike up there? Yay! Woo! That's my girl. That's my girl right there.
All right, we have bikes galore. Really good show. There is some Hondas, even a new Tenere, but mostly BMWs. Dinner has been had and it was delicious. We had some tacos, some quesadillas, drinks, both leaded, unleaded. Big thanks to San Jose BMW. And now we're getting ready for the movie. The sun has gone down and we're getting ready to watch the BDR.
1 hour later.
Thanks everybody for coming out. I just want to say a huge thanks to my friend at San Jose BMW. Big round of applause for them, seriously, for putting on this event because it's been amazing. Quick question: Who here has ridden a BDR? How many people? Nice. Say 25% or so.
I can hear you. All right. Are you hearing Matt? Later, man. All right. Oh, what a day. Oh, it is almost 10 o'clock. I am just getting home. So much fun today out there, hanging out, meeting all the BMW people, meeting some of the people from the BDR. Big shout out to Wendy. She definitely was our special guest, and she was a huge part of that film. So go check that out. The Wyoming BDR updated the software on the bike. That went smooth. 022-007-020. The TFT, not the software to the bike, but TFT version, that's been updated. Well, I'm gonna go see what the wife and kids are up to, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.